whatever it is that you're trying to lift yourself up from rock bottom, there's things from your past that you learned, whether it was a class you took, a job you had, a connection you made. It's your job right now to be as resourceful as possible. Here's my thing with LinkedIn now.
Huh?
Everyone is just posting chat GPT quotes. If I see another M dash, my goodness. And I feel like all already thought LinkedIn was the anti-social social media network. Now it's just worse because no one talks like that in real life.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No one communicates like that. So if I go on LinkedIn, I automatically feel like I have to be fake. I don't want to be here.
Mhm.
But then like they say you have to do this for your business, and I do want my business to be successful. But there's so many people who are successful without social media. Do I need to be here? Could
Mhm.
I just log off? What could I do with my time? How productive could I be if I
Right.
wasn't posting content?
Mhm.
And if it does hit and it does go viral, it's irrelevant in 72 hours.
That's true. Yeah.
So what's the purpose?
Welcome everyone to another episode of Your Lab Central. Today I'm joined with Cam F. Awesome. So Cam, would you like to tell our audience why they should be excited about this conversation?
Ooh, because you're probably at work right now, and that's what I want to talk about. Like, as a kid, I hated being in timeout
Hmm.
because that meant I didn't get to do what I wanted with my time.
Hmm.
Like, I follow the law, not because I necessarily like the law. I just don't want to go to jail.
Hmm.
Because if I'm in jail, I don't get to do what I want with my time.
Hmm.
The most valuable thing in the world is time.
Right.
And even as a kid, I was always concerned with what I was going to be when I grow up
Hmm.
because I understood. I looked around me, all the adults spend most of their time doing what they do for a living.
Hmm.
Most of them don't like what they do. So I got obsessed with this idea of choosing a career where I got to do what I wanted with my time.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about how we went on this journey. But first, I want to ask about a few things that are in the background, like a boxing glove and something I don't recognize. So, do you want to probably it is a part of what you do and what you love doing?
Yeah. So what I done, so I used to be a boxer
Hmm.
and I was the number one boxer in the US for about 10 years. I've
Hmm.
won 12 national championships. I won three Olympic trials. I retired with more wins than any other boxer in history. And I decided not to turn pro because that's not what I wanted to do with my time.
Right.
But boxing was a big part of my life. I've since retired. And personally, I don't watch it. I don't really do much with boxing, but I realized that I could utilize the things I've won to
Hmm.
kind of leverage myself to get on cool podcasts like yours and to build businesses.
Right. So let's talk about this, how we're doing things that we want to do, right? What using the skills that we have, what we love doing, and the time to maximize in doing what we want to do. So where did you start? How did this journey take for shape?
So when I was young, I wanted to be a performer.
Hmm.
There's a show here in the States called All That. It's like Saturday Night Live, but like children. And I saw the show and was like, that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I didn't know how to do it though.
Hmm.
Like as a kid, you're just like, I want to do that, but my parents don't know. They don't know how Hollywood works.
Yeah.
So I started boxing at the age of 16
Hmm.
and I got really good really fast with it. I never was good at sports, but I figured out the scoring system with boxing.
Right.
I never watched it. I don't really like boxing. It's never been my thing, but I figured out how to win in boxing.
Okay.
And I thought if I became the number one boxer in the country,
Hmm.
I would get my own reality show.
Right.
This was reasonable. In 2008, everyone was getting their own reality show.
Yeah.
So my goal to do what I wanted was be a performer. I was going to box. Now, I don't necessarily like boxing, but I realized in life you have to use every tool that's given to you.
Hmm.
Everything is a resource.
That's right.
And to be able to do what you want to do, you're going to have to do all the things you don't want to do.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So it's like I want to just perform. Of course, I'd love to just get on a stage and perform, but now I'm going to have to go build a boxing career,
Hmm.
become the number one boxer in the US, and then find a way to get on TV.
Yeah.
That that was my 17-year-old brain.
Hmm.
Now, of course, it didn't work out like that, but my
Yeah.
goal is I wanted to be a performer.
Hmm.
The reason why is my dad had a construction company,
Hmm.
and I had to work with the laborers, like the guys breaking up the concrete. And that's what I did growing up. Always had calluses. I was always on a construction site, and it was terrible. I was like, I don't want to spend my time doing this.
Hmm.
So that's when I kind of got obsessed with the idea of performing because it's not actual hard work. There are people who are like, oh, it's art. Yes, sure. Most things we do aren't hard work. A lot of us, we're sitting at computer desks most of our day. We're not really working hard. We're using our brain, but physical labor is a whole different beast. I'm not built for that. So, and my idea was like, I wanted to perform. That's
Yeah.
fun, making people laugh. That was what I wanted to do. So I got really good at boxing. At 18, I was the number one boxer in the country. I didn't get a reality show. I traveled the world for 4 years.
Hmm.
Somehow fell into boxing. It My life became boxing. I was
Yeah.
traveling around the world, uh, representing Team USA.
Hmm.
I won the 2012 Olympic trials,
Hmm.
and then I got kicked off the Olympic team for not sending in my drug testing paperwork on time.
All right.
And I there's nothing in my system. I just left the country to fight in a tournament and forgot to update my address.
Hmm.
They showed up to my house to give me a random drug test. I wasn't there. Missed drug test is a positive drug test. I got suspended for a positive drug test.
Hmm.
And then I was suspended for boxing for a year. And, and I looked at my life, and my whole life had become boxing.
Hmm.
And I did it only so I could perform. And I had done zero performing up to that point.
Hmm.
So I had to ask myself if I really what I want to do is perform. And also, caveat to this,
Yeah.
when I say do what you want with your time,
Hmm.
let's say you want to play football, like American soccer or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to play with Messi.
Right.
You can play at your local gym. If you want to be a performer, you could perform you don't have to be in Madison Square Garden. You could you could perform at little arenas, little shows. You get to do what you love. You don't have to do it at a huge level.
That's right.
So and some of us have to work to do what we want to do, which is our
That's
hobby.
right. That's right.
I wanted to merge both of these things.
Right.
So when I got suspended for boxing, I realized I've done zero performing. If I want to actually do what I want with my time,
Hmm.
I have to do it. So I would go to this hole in the wall bar and I would do open mic comedy nights.
Hmm.
And I was terrible at it. But I understood how the system works. I
Yeah.
understood how the boxing system works with points.
Hmm.
In the comedy system, think about the system you exist within.
Hmm.
There's always a problem, and your job is to solve that problem.
Yeah.
So in comedy, they don't care about how funny you are. They care how many tickets you can sell.
That's right.
Well, I'm a boxer. I got fans. So I utilized my social media and I
Right.
would post about that I'm doing comedy shows. I would sell tickets and I got to perform a lot.
Hmm.
You can only be bad for so long.
That's
Like
true. Yeah.
I
Practice.
sucked at practice makes perfect. I sucked in the beginning and I got better and my jokes formed better and became a better performer.
Hmm.
And eventually I got to the point where I'm comfortable on stage and I'm a way better comic.
Hmm.
But I got to do what I wanted to do. Now, I returned to boxing because again, you have to pay bills. And
Yeah.
so I got back with boxing, but I decided when I returned to boxing, I'm going to treat it as more as a performance
Uh-huh.
because I want to be a performer. So I legally changed my last name to Awesome. I created this whole personality. I started to wear capes. I was dancing in the ring and I started to brand myself,
Yeah.
not as an athlete, but as an entertainer.
Okay. Hmm.
And understanding how the comedy game works. So I got into boxing because of bullying.
Yeah.
So I started to go to schools after I became the number one boxer in the country. and I would talk at schools about bullying. I'd do school-wide assemblies. And that's where I would do my jokes because I wanted to perform.
Yeah,
I'm getting to help the younger version of me
yeah,
by speaking at these schools. I get to perform. And yeah, it was that was kind of how I was able to do what I wanted with my time.
yeah. Yeah, actually rings a bell, right? I mean, I've just found this new interest in salsa, the dance form. Okay, just social dancing, right? And I realized, yeah, I need to do my job during the day so that I can go have a dance every once in a while in the evening, right? Because that's the job is paying the bills, and then, yeah, that's leisure. And it's not necessary for me to become a performer, right? I mean, going on stage and doing it in front of 1,000 people, that's not important to me. For me, the important thing is that I'm having a good time, getting to meet 10, 20 different people, and then, yeah, socializing. So that's makes a lot of sense, of course. But as you said, right, we have to pay the bills, okay? And it's just that you got things falling into place, right? Say you had boxing, I mean, you got to know the system of boxing, and then you created a lot of fans, which you could later leverage as your initial audience for comedy, right? But you got to rock bottom, and not everybody has something in the past which was very good for them and can help them grow back up, right? As you probably had with you as your audience, right? As your fans. Okay. So for people out there who have hit rock bottom, right? Because main thing is revival and getting back up on their feet. So how would you suggest somebody else do that? Or is there any lesson that you can share?
Yeah, I respectfully disagree with you. I
No
believe
problem.
all of your listeners have something in their past
Mm-hmm.
that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was I'm not special by any means. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that great of a boxer. I have 39 losses. So it's like I'm not some special athlete. I never made a team in school. But what I did is I used everything to my as a resource.
Mm-hmm.
So when it got to boxing, the reason why I got so good at boxing is I interviewed the judges and the referees.
Okay.
What are you looking for? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you exactly that. I'm not playing to the audience. I'm not playing to my opponent. The judges are looking for clean, snapping blows. I never threw with power. I never tried to knock anybody out. I figured out the scoring system. Whatever it is that you're trying to lift yourself up from rock bottom, there's things from your past that you learned, whether it was a class you took, a job you had, a connection you made. It's your job right now to be as resourceful as possible. I
Right.
mean, when I share my story, I skip out of a lot of my story because you don't need to hear all of the sad parts.
Yeah, yeah,
I kind of just give you the spark notes and the highlights. But in between starting boxing and winning my national championship was 2 years.
that's right.
And
That's right.
I don't mention that I walk 6 miles to the gym 5 days a week. That's a 3 hour walk every day after school to get to the gym to work out. And then after you work out, you have to go on a run.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't mention that. I don't mention living out of a suitcase 300 days a year
Mm-hmm.
the only way I could be successful with boxing is it's the only thing I can do. Other people are talented enough to, not have to go as hard as me.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all that great. So I don't know how much you know about the NBA over there,
Yeah,
but when people think about basketball, like they like to think, oh, I'm Michael Jordan or I'm LeBron James.
yeah,
No, you're not. Okay. LeBron James, we knew LeBron James was going to be special when he was born. Like, we're not all LeBron James.
yeah.
Do you know who Paul Pierce is?
It rings a bell, but yeah, exactly not.
And that proves my point. Now,
Yeah.
Paul Pierce won an NBA championship.
Uh-huh.
And most people don't like you won't know who he is.
Mhm.
There's nothing when you bring him up, if you do know who he is, there's nothing you could bring up about him that's special.
Mhm.
Like you can't say, oh, his dunking ability, his 3-point shooting, his crossover. There's nothing special about him, I believe, other than he's willing to outwork everyone.
Right.
And for the ones of us who aren't born LeBron James or that naturally gifted person,
Mhm.
we can still get where everyone else is. It just might take us a little bit longer.
That's true.
I am the Paul Pierce. Like, it's not flashy,
Yeah.
but it's going to get a ring.
Mhm. And now, you talked about sharing your story, right? Now, how do you usually go about? I mean, one, you have your open mics and stand-up comedy where you share snippets of your story, I'm guessing from because, yeah, people would love to hear about that. But also, there are other platforms like social media, right? I just happen to see you've got loads of followers on Instagram. I could not check the other platforms, but yeah, how did you get there?
So boxing was a big thing, and I, which I have a weird view about social media.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. That's perfectly great.
So honestly, most of my followers are probably dead. Uh,
Okay.
like I would do an ESPN show like
Mm-hmm.
on back when I was boxing, and I would get an influx of 4 or 5 thousand followers,
Mm-hmm.
which probably logged on their phone, followed me, and then got offline, and they never. So they're not even active. That number just have grown after being there for a long time. And then I speak at a lot of schools, so kids follow me, but I don't have much engagement,
Mm-hmm.
and I spend a lot of time on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at my numbers back in 2024, and I was looking at my numbers for all of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a speaker right now. That's what I do
Yeah.
for a living. And I looked at how much money I made off of social media,
Right.
and it was less than 3% of my income.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, for as much time as I spend on social media, if I were to just get off, I'd sacrifice that 3% for the joy and happiness of not knowing what's happening in everyone's lives.
Yeah.
So in 2024, I didn't really do social media. I would still log on from my laptop because I always want to get leads,
Mm-hmm.
but and they don't really come in. Uh, but my 2024 was better than my 2023, and I didn't really utilize social media.
Okay.
So in 2025, I decided what would happen if I utilize social media the right way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm doing it as a novice. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so 2025, I decided I'd get back on social media, and then I never knew how depressing it is. Everyone just posting about death and war, destruction, rape, genocide,
Yeah.
and I can't do anything about all that, and it's a lot on my soul and my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, is this is it's such a toxic place? Is because people still build businesses not on social media. There
Mm-hmm.
are very successful people who aren't on social media, and you don't know them because you're not thinking about them. You don't even know they exist because they're not on social media. Some of the greatest speakers who are the most highest paid speakers, you don't know their names. They're not famous. They're just very good in their industry.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
not big on social media. And I thought, well, what about if I just take the time I would spend on social media and get so undeniably good at what I do, which is speaking, that
Mm-hmm.
I become that high value speaker in the corporate world. So what I decided to do, because I guess social media is still important and I need to show stuff, I joined Podmatch.
Right.
And I go on podcasts, and as a speaker, the benefit of to me is you're going to ask me questions I've never been asked before.
Yeah.
That helps me create content for my future speeches. I share my story. Every time you share your story, you get more reps in. I'm getting better at telling my story. So
Yeah.
it helps me improve. We're going to have genuine interactions
That's right.
that I'm going to capture and then post on my social media. I use AI software and I just throw it on there. It makes the clips, the captions you see, and then I automatically post it on social media, and I don't really go on. It's just sad. A lot of it's sad and it's overwhelming. I don't want to be sad. I want to be a happy person.
That's right.
And I believe in creating the environment you want to exist within.
Mm-hmm.
So I've since limited my social media, but now I'm getting back on because I'm doing this whole comedy in the courtyard thing where I'm trying to do comedy in apartment complexes, and I have to try to promote that and connect with comics. So I've been checking my social media a little bit more often. But for the most part, think about, because I see a lot of people want to do social media,
Yeah.
and think about, why do you want to do it? do you want to be popular? And there's no shade. It's just like, do you want a lot of following? Do you want to just be known? Or are you doing it for money? And if it's for money, think about how much hours you're spending doing it and divide that by the money and see that you're making minimum wage. Is there a more effective way to do what you're doing?
That's right.
It might just be a trend, or it might be the thing you want to do. I'm not judging, but take a second and assess if social media is benefiting your goal and actually think about what your goal is.
Makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, if I'm going on social media and wasting my time, wasting all my time scrolling rather than actually looking for content that I want to emulate or probably just create it, right? Rather than spending 30 minutes scrolling my feed, if I spend 30 minutes creating the right form of content that I can put out twice a day, probably that is more beneficial to me rather than going through all these posts on deaths, war, and so on and so forth, right? That and it's very beneficial, right? As you mentioned, right? Focusing on what needs to be done rather than just spending time on social media.
Yeah. And yeah, it's so consuming and it's so good.
Mhm.
It's addict. It's nothing addicting is boring. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But since you mentioned that you're getting a little lesser engagement, I mean, as you put it, do you go out and try to engage with other people's posts, or is it just that you're going out and posting stuff? Because I've heard that a lot of people are getting good engagement because they're engaging with other people's posts, and then those people are coming back and engaging with them.
Yeah, and I did that in the beginning of this year, but then I was
Mhm.
just finding out too much stuff about people's lives and what's going on in the world, and not one of those to know.
Mhm.
So uh, I looked at the engagement I was getting, and my engagement was growing, but
Right.
then it doesn't quantify into dollars.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
the people who book speakers, like if let's say Walmart is looking to book a speaker, they're
Mhm.
not choosing them off Instagram.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, why am I here?
Hmm. I mean,
Yeah, and
it's
and
not Instagram, LinkedIn per se, because yeah,
yeah. So
your
here's
audience
my
is on
problem with
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
Here's my thing with LinkedIn now.
Uh-huh.
Everyone is just posting chat GPT quotes. If I see another M dash, my goodness. And I feel like all already thought LinkedIn was the anti-social social media network. Now it's just worse because no one talks like that in real life.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No one communicates like that. So if I go on LinkedIn, I automatically feel like I have to be fake. I don't want to be here.
Mhm.
But then like they say you have to do this for your business, and I do want my business to be successful, but there's so many people who are successful without social media. Do I need to be here? Could
Mhm.
I just log off? What could I do with my time? How productive could I be if I
Right.
wasn't posting content?
Mhm.
And if it does hit and it does go viral, it's irrelevant in 72 hours.
That's true. Yeah.
So what's the purpose? And these are the questions I ask myself as a business owner because I get off social media for 2 months and then I find out that someone booked a big gig through social media. I'm like, oh, maybe I should be on social media. And then I get on there and my algorithm right now is battle raps, military people coming home and surprising their kids, and vegan recipes. That's where it is right now. So that's not bad by any means. It's not sad or anything, but
Yeah.
it's like, could I be just going for a walk and listening to an audiobook?
Mhm.
Like the whole thing is I want to do what I want with my time. Social media isn't even social anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at your feed. It's no one you're actually following.
It's just pages and random creators and influencers that we started following these days.
And it's just trying to convince you to swipe 4 times because every fifth post is an ad, and they're
Yeah.
just trying to sell you ads. So the people who are making the decisions, unless you're selling directly to consumer, like you're selling a course or something, the people who make decisions for my industry, I don't think they're not making their decisions based off Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
It
It's very
happens. Yes, it
subjective.
happens, but statistically, I don't think it's an
Yeah,
efficient
not worth the effort
use
kind
of
of thing.
yeah. I don't know, but that's I'm no expert. And
Mhm.
again, I haven't done social media right.
Mhm.
Like I've tried a bunch of things throughout the years. Right now, I'm just doing these posts online, and weirdly, people text me all the time, like, "Hey, loving your videos," and it feels good, but I'm like, it doesn't. It doesn't pay me.
It doesn't pay, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to do what I want with my time, and it's not fun anymore. MySpace days, that was fun. Top eight, that was fun. Before our parents got on social media,
Yeah,
it
that
was
was fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Now
true.
it's an industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think I put out a post on LinkedIn, I think a couple of years ago, just saying that that LinkedIn is no longer LinkedIn anymore. It's become Facebook, right? Because everybody is talking about everything else but work, and they've got more chat GPT based crap rather than genuine things that they want to talk about. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you.
Hey, and I don't know if this is different in India, and I love learning about different cultures, and I know you don't have the answer for everyone, but just generally. Uh,
Mhm.
So here in the States, it's taboo, it's bad to talk about money.
Mhm.
And people in LinkedIn, they'll like DM me to like pitch me about helping me build my speaking business. And then what my first question is, how much money do you make?
Mhm.
And I always get a pushback on that answer.
Mhm.
And the fact that I even asked the question.
Okay.
And one person said it was rude.
Mhm.
And I'm like, but if the outcome is income,
Mhm.
shouldn't we be discussing that?
That's a fair thing to say, right? I mean, if you're asking as to how much you want to grow, we have to see where you currently are because only then we can build on what you currently have, right? But this is my personal perspective, and yeah, people are not generally very comfortable sharing their income even in India. If you go and ask somebody randomly about it, they'll think twice before telling you the exact figure. Okay, even if you ask me right now, I'll think, should I be telling you the exact number? Or yeah, because that it's just right. If you want to brag about it, obviously you'll tell a little more. If it's something, if the audience is different, depends on who you're talking to, right? But since you mentioned the conversation that you were taking, right? If somebody is asking you that they want to increase their speaker business, but then you have to set a benchmark, right? Where is our starting point? Because without
Yeah.
that, you can't do that. But
Yeah. Oh, I don't mean just like asking people out in public how much you make randomly, but if we're discussing business and money, then I'm like, and the reason why I ask is I know how much I make as a speaker.
mhm,
If you don't make as much as me, you can't teach me how to make more than I already make.
that's true.
So I want to know when I ask your income, the question I'm really asking is, are you a mentor or are you a peer?
Hmm. That's true. Yeah.
And I marketing is just is it's good. Well, good marketing, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to like strip everything of marketing and all the fluff
Hmm.
is talking solid numbers. And I've been getting a lot of pushback on that lately. But here's why I love talking numbers, and I don't see it in a bragging way.
Hmm.
Because I've had mentors around me mention how much they make, but not in a braggadocious way.
Yeah.
And when I find out how much they make, I realized how much I'm capable of making. I don't see it in a jealous way.
Yeah,
I just
that's
see it in
right.
oh, you've done it. There's a blueprint for doing it. It is possible.
Yes.
Growing up in my neighborhood, I never met people who made big money.
Hmm.
So then what you do as a person is, and in US terms, we say, oh, I want to make six figures. And you think six figures is 100,000 because in your mind, that's the biggest possible number.
Yeah.
When you find out that number is insignificant to some people, you start to reassess that number. And then when you set your goals to the millions, then you hit six figures without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that's why I love talking numbers, not to shame anyone or not to brag, but I want to know who's doing what so I can follow what you're doing.
Yeah,
That
that's
makes
right,
sense.
actually, because even as a consultant, if I'm talking to a business, right, trying to help them grow, and they say that, yeah, we want to become this big, I need to understand where they currently are so that I can tell, so that we can work out what are the steps required. I think that is how you're starting off, right? Because we have
Yeah.
to work out these steps that we have to take that person to that next level. So
Yeah.
that's how it is. I mean, yeah, I think that's how it is, right? Across the globe, people are not very comfortable sharing how much they're making because they see it as a threat sometimes. If the context changes, and
It's only a threat if that number isn't what you're projecting it to be.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And that's why, because that strips all the BS once, because
Yes.
I'm very comfortable sharing numbers because
Same here,
I
yeah.
am who I say I am. And that's the people I want to work with because I don't see money as an evil thing. I
Of
love it.
course.
I want you to have more of it, more of it. I want to work with people and give them more of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see money as a beautiful thing, and there's it's a taboo around it around the states because we all work. We're doing things we don't want to do
Simply
to
for talking
get
about money,
money,
right?
but we can't talk about money. How ridiculous is that concept? No, let's talk numbers. Yeah,
Because that's one metric that is helping you assess how successful you are getting, or at least how successful your business is getting. It's, if not the only metric, it's one of the metrics, right? So you
it's just one of the only universal ones.
something that everybody understands, yes. So
Objective.
objective and it gives numbers. So yeah, thank you so much, Cam. I mean, this conversation was like, I don't know how time passed, but I have a timer running. I don't want to stretch it too far, but yeah,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity. I could take it for hours at length, but yeah, some other time for sure. But before
Yeah.
we close, would you like to share where people can get in touch with you if they have any more questions or something of that sort?
Yeah, you can find me at CamFAwesome on all social media platforms, camfawesome.com. I'm a 12-time U.S. national champion, former captain of the USA national boxing team. I speak on resilience, mindset, and the power of a positive internal dialogue. I also host Comedy in the Courtyard, where we bring laughs to communities in their own backyard, where I do stand-up comedy. And yeah, find me online. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Thank you so much, Cam. Thank you for joining me in on this episode of Your Lab Central. To the audience, if you liked our conversation, don't forget to leave a like. The comment section is always open for questions, comments, and if you want to add to the conversation. And don't forget to subscribe before you close the window. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks, Cam, for joining me in for this episode. Thank you so much.